Aloha and welcome to Frequently Asked Questions with Malama Solar. My name is Rachel, and in this episode of What You Should Know Before Going Solar, we're going to help you understand how your system works and how to optimize its production after it's been installed. While there are standard system sizes, solar is not a one-size-fits-all. Sure, we take the average of the last 12 months of the customer's HECO bill, but that average doesn't always best fit the customer's needs. In order to determine this, you need to know a few things, such as how the system works, when it is most efficient, and what curtailment is. Okay, so let's get started by taking it from the top, the sun. Every morning when the sun rises, the panels on your roof will begin harnessing those early morning rays and turning them into electricity. This early morning power that your panels produce will most likely go straight from your panels to different appliances that are using energy within your home, such as lights, outlets, your refrigerator. Now, as the sun's rays get stronger leading into the afternoon, your system's production increases and it's able to produce more energy at its maximum capacity. Typically, the sun's rays are strongest between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. On sunny days, these are typically the hours that you'll see the most production from your system. So let's go ahead and take a look at a graph to help demonstrate your system's production and energy consumption. Let's say orange represents the amount of energy that you'll be using straight from your solar PV system. Now, I want to make the distinction that orange is not the amount of energy you're using in total. It's not the amount of energy that you're pulling from the grid, nor is it the amount of energy that you're pulling from your batteries. Orange strictly represents the amount of energy your home is directly getting from your panels in real time. So this orange portion of the graph shows what your home is using straight from your solar PV system. Around 6 a.m., the sun is rising and your panels start to produce energy. Now, although you might not be awake yet, there are still some things in your home that are consuming energy, like your refrigerator, your TV, and other devices that are not on but still plugged in, and maybe even AC. So even though you're still sound asleep, your home is still consuming energy. Then you wake up around 6:15, 6:30, turn on the TV to watch the morning news, maybe flip on some lights, start using your oven and other devices to cook yourself a nice omelet. So your orange line here is going to increase, meaning you're using more powers from your panels, so straight from your panels, to accommodate powering these additional loads or these loads that are becoming more active and requiring more energy. Okay, next in your daily routine, you leave for work around 8 a.m. Turn off the lights, turn off other devices before heading out, be the environmentally conscious person you are, and now your home is back on that rest mode of energy consumption, which might be about the same amount of consumption that you were using when you were asleep. This is where we see the orange portion drop back down because now the amount of power that your home is consuming straight from your panels has decreased. Around 5 p.m., you return home from work and turn on some lights. Maybe the TV, maybe your kids are home, they're playing video games in the other room, turn on the AC, whatever it may be. And you even turn on your oven or your range to start cooking dinner for the family. So you'll see a bump or an increase in consumption around 5. Maybe around 5:30, dinner is ready. So your oven gets turned off, but all the other devices like the lights, AC, etc. stay on until you turn in for bed, say around 10 p.m. Why did the orange start to decrease around 6 p.m.? So pop quiz, what does orange mean? Orange represents the amount of energy your home is directly getting from the panels in real time. Are your panels still producing after the sun goes down? No. That is why you see this start to decrease here as the sun sets and your panels are no longer producing energy. That orange line starts to disappear even though your home still requires energy. Okay, now if you're in a net metering program, this is when you'll start to pull power from the grid or from the utility that you've stored earlier in the day. That's when you'll start to pull that back into your home to use, and you'll see those on your utility bill minus the credit that you receive from that net metering program, which varies from state to state. If you're in the customer self-supply program, meaning you have batteries, your panels produce energy, you store that excess energy on your battery for later use and pull it when needed. That is when you start pulling power from your battery, because here you still need to use power, but you can't get it from your panels anymore. So that's when you start pulling it from your battery. So to sum that up, when the sun sets, the energy that you're using no longer is coming straight from the panels. Instead, it has to change the source of energy from your panels to your batteries. In this video, we're focusing on battery storage because those are the systems that allow the monitoring capability and where you'll most likely see the curtailment issue that we brought up earlier. So we'll get to that in just a minute. So this is where batteries kick in. The green portion on this graph represents the amount of excess energy that your system is producing, but your home is not currently consuming at the moment. For example, around 12 o'clock noon, your system might be producing 10 kilowatt hours of power, but your home is only using 1 kilowatt of energy right here, right? So the remainder of the 9 kilowatts of energy that your system is producing is now stored onto your batteries to charge them. So if this were your home, on this day, between 8 and 9 a.m., your home is using about 1 kilowatt hour of energy straight from your panels, pulling this directly from your solar system. And all of this excess energy here in green is being stored to your battery. Now, at the same time, let's say that this blue line represents your battery's state of charge, or SOC. This is how much juice your battery has. This differs from the green portion of the graph because the green shows how much you're charging your battery versus the blue line, which shows your battery's total charge. Notice the green line drops down here, or the green portion decreases here. What's happening? Why does it do that? Well, let me ask you this. If you charge your phone and your phone reaches 100% charge, does it continue to pull energy or power from the wall? No, it doesn't. The reason why is because your phone's battery cannot take on any more charge once it's at 100%. So your phone charger, in this metaphor, is the sun, and your phone's battery is the solar battery. The green portion shows how much charge your solar batteries are taking on in that moment. But once those batteries reach 100% charge, they cannot take on any more charge. So you can see here that this blue line, or your battery's total charge, plateaus between noon and 4 p.m. This means that your battery is fully charged and there are just small amounts of energy here that you see in green so that your battery can remain at that 100% charge in blue. Tying this back to the metaphor of the cell phone, it's like playing games on your phone while it's still plugged into the charger, right? Technically, when you're using your phone, you're using that battery, but because your phone is still plugged into the charger or the sun is able to maintain that 100% charge. Now, around 4 or 5 p.m., your home is starting to use more energy. And so you see your battery's state of charge start to decrease, meaning you're starting to pull power from your battery. Why is this? Well, around 4 or 5 p.m., the sun is still up, which is why you still see some power coming directly from your solar, but it's not producing as much as it would during peak hours. Instead of pulling energy from the grid or the utility, it starts to pull that power from your batteries, as it should. Now, here are a few notes. By about 10 a.m., most of our customers see their system starting to produce more energy than their home can consume. And this is a good thing. All this extra energy that your home does not use is sent to your batteries to store for later use, like at night. The second thing to note is there is such a thing called vampire devices, which are devices that suck energy when it is not being used. Things like televisions, computers, monitors, smart home devices, microwaves, printers, kitchen appliances, and alarm clocks. Basically, anything that needs electricity to be on, and it's on, but still not in use, is one of those silent energy consumers. Some of these things need to have power, while others can be eliminated just by being more conscious about turning off power strips to these electronics when they're not in use. Last thing, looking at this chart, around 10 or 11 a.m., your battery is at max capacity and cannot take on any more charge. Your home, here in orange, isn't using a whole ton of energy. So what happens to all this energy that your system is producing but isn't using? Well, Since this excess energy cannot be stored to your battery, because your battery is at full 100% charge, there is nowhere for that energy to go. So unfortunately, it is wasted energy or wasted potential. This is called curtailment. Curtailment is the reduction in the amount of energy available for use that your system was capable of producing. So again, curtailment is a reduction in the amount of energy that is available for use that your system was capable of using, but you can't actually use. So this means that you're not maximizing the potential of your system because of this period of time where you had this wasted potential. Here, your panels were able to produce more energy, but you could not capitalize on it because there was nowhere for the excess energy to be stored because your battery state of charge was already at 100% maxed out. One thing that you could have done here is use more energy directly from your system or directly from your panels, so increasing this orange portion, right? Because your phone is still plugged into the charger or the sun. Once you unplug your phone from the charger, meaning the sun has set, you start to drain that battery. So if you capitalize on using more energy during this period of time where your system is capable of producing more energy, just doesn't have anywhere to store it, then you can avoid this curtailment issue. The good news is there are ways to avoid curtailment. Take your laundry machine, for example. Your laundry machine consumes so much power that your panels alone are likely not able to provide enough energy that it needs at that time. However, if you run your washing machine at noon, you shouldn't see any power pulled from HECO's grid at all. Instead, your panels and batteries will work in unison to cover the full amount of energy that your laundry machine needs. In addition to this, by running your laundry machine at noon, it allows your batteries the opportunity to recover that 100% charge, so you can have fully charged batteries before the sun sets. Another important thing to remember is this is just one day's consumption on a hypothetical scenario. Your day-to-day consumption will look different almost every day. Some of your energy consumption habits may stay the same, but based on the time of year, whether it's winter or summer, or the weather, rain or shine, your system's production can be more or less efficient. Now, really quickly, I'm going to review two other scenarios. This is Joe's system. Joe started working from home, so he uses a lot of energy in the day, but because of that, he also washes a lot of his laundry in the day, runs a load of dishes in the dishwasher, whatever. Now, because Joe is taking care of these things in the day, as opposed to when the sun is down at night, Joe is using more energy in the day and less energy at night. Now here, we don't see the same curtailment issues that we did in the first scenario because Joe is consuming much more additional power in the day. His battery doesn't hit that 100% state of charge. So in scenario one with your system, you saw curtailment, but by morning, you still hadn't drained your battery completely. So that's the good news, is you didn't start pulling from the utility. In scenario two, here with Joe, the batteries never reach 100% state of charge because he used more power in the day. But he's still not pulling power from the utility because although his batteries didn't hit that 100% state of charge, he used less energy at night. Now in scenario 1 and 2, these aren't technically bad because your system is still producing enough power to prevent you pulling electricity from the grid. But what happens if you've drained all the power from your batteries? Now, this can happen in either scenario when you start pulling energy from the grid. If you drained your battery by 4 a.m., either because you were using a lot of energy at night or because your battery didn't start with a full charge, from 4 a.m. until the sun rises, you'll pull whatever power your home needs during those hours from the grid. Now, let's say around 5 a.m., the sun is rising, and your system started to produce some energy, but the rays aren't strong enough yet to supply you with all of the energy you need. So you'll still pull some power from the grid, but not as much as you were at 4 a.m. Then, around 6 a.m., your system started to produce more energy than your home is consuming, and that is when you're able to rely completely on your solar system for your electricity. So to sum things up, here are the two main takeaways. First, you want to know what your typical energy consumption patterns are when choosing your system size. Keep in mind that you can't just load on a bunch of batteries without panels, because if you don't have enough panels to produce the energy to charge those batteries are just sitting there. On the flip side, if you have too many panels but not enough batteries, you'll drain your batteries too quickly and start pulling from the grid by morning. We have ideal panel to battery ratios to ensure that your system is going to work the way that it should without giving you more batteries than your system has capacity to produce, or more panels than your system has capacity to store. The second main takeaway is the importance of monitoring your system. Monitoring your system is going to be the best way to track your energy consumption habits and identify if there are times when you could be utilizing your system in more efficient ways to avoid curtailment. It will also help you to see how much charge your batteries have and when you start to pull from the utility, if at all, after you've drained your battery. So hopefully now you understand how your system works, when it's most efficient, and the concept of curtailment, which are all important things to consider before going solar. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.